Hello everyone! For today's video, I thought we could talk about a few of the orchids that we just haven't been very happy with. These are going to be orchids that don't really have like a clear problem with them, but at the same time they're orchids that we have not seen thrive and we can't really figure out why. We haven't had much time to take care of our collection, so we haven't really done much research about what's going on with these orchids. At the same time, it doesn't seem to be anything serious. These are just orchids that haven't been thriving, and for one reason or another, we still haven't been able to figure out why. First, we have our Chysis. And we've had this plant for a couple of years, and although we bought it without being blooming size, I don't really see it thriving or being able to give us bigger and bigger growths. It makes new growths every year and it produces roots, but at the same time, I don't think it's developing quite right. Probably part of the problem is that it seems to be a spider mite magnet. Every year, like clockwork, we get these marks on the leaves that pretty much indicate that this, along with a couple of others, just gets all the spider mites that is possible to get in this room. And I don't know if this is deterring it from growing properly or if there's something else in its care that we aren't tackling properly, because this is our only Chysis. So I don't think we're going to be seeing blooms from this plant anytime soon. Right next to it is our Paphiopedlium Pinocchio, and we've had this one for a whopping 6 years. And honestly, it's never quite done well for us. We got it at a garden center and it did okay in the beginning, but as soon as it was time for it to bloom again the next year, it aborted part of the flowers, and then the next growths were all smaller and smaller. Some of them would just die off before reaching maturity, and we haven't quite figured out why. As you can see, it now has been able to grow a bigger growth, but I'm pretty sure by the spots on the leaves that there is some sort of nutrient deficiency going on here. So I think I just need to hit the internet and do some research and see how we can help this plant thrive a bit more. And hopefully give us some flowers. It has been 6 years after all. Down here we have this phalaenopsis that, even though it looks like a seedling, it's one of the oldest orchids in our collection. We got it in our first Schwerter order, and it has never done well for us. Right now, it's the best it's ever looked, in the sense that it doesn't have any leaves browning, but it does look like a seedling, and it has been in our collection for 7 years now. I think we learned at some point that one of the parents is supposed to be a more finicky plant to deal with, so maybe that's why we haven't been able to keep this one thriving. And even though it's staying alive and now it looks good, I still don't see enough improvement that I would say we've been able to figure out this plant. Over here we have our Epidendrum porpax that unfortunately is not looking as good as when we received it. It seems to have not done well this summer. I don't know if it's because we ended up neglecting, well, most of our plants a little bit, or if it was just the scorching temperatures we've had. But as you can see, all the new leaves seem to be burnt off. Everything's okay with the root system. I just don't know if this plant enjoyed the heat. And I will for sure make note for next summer to make sure to keep it hydrated and maybe even find a cooler location in the room to keep it. Right behind it, we have our BC Maikai, that even though it has been described everywhere on the internet as one of the easiest hybrids to have, and that it grows like a weed, and that it's really easy to bloom, we've had it for a few years now, and even though it keeps making new growths, and it's under quite a strong light, it does not seem to produce sheaths or buds. It seems to do nothing that would indicate to us that it's going to be a plant that will bloom for us at least as well as the internet says they're supposed to. And last but not least, we have our Bulbophyllums. We have mentioned in other videos that we don't seem to be able to nail the care for these plants. And I think this was the first summer where they don't seem to have suffered at all from heat or from dehydration, and still no flowers. No indication that we are being able to keep these plants as they're supposed to. And that completely breaks my heart, because I'm pretty sure that as soon as I figure these two out, I'm going to need more shelves for Bulbophyllums. I'm even a part of a Bulbophyllum group on Facebook, and let's just say that I keep adding names to the list of plants I intend to buy. And these two little suckers are keeping me hostage. So that's our quick little list of plants that frustrate me every time I look at them. And if you have any tips on how we can improve the care for these particular plants, I'd be more than willing to listen to your advice. I'm not ready to give up on them yet, because it's not like they're dying, but most of these plants have been doing nothing for years now, and I think it's time to figure out what's wrong with them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. If you liked, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to our channel. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.